Guess what I'm saying? He's looking at me. Guess what I'm saying? I see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me.
Al Green is too amazing.
This Week in Gear is presented by Dollar Flight Club, where members save an average of $500 on airfare.
The McLaren 600 LT is not a supercar. Sure, it has doors that open up and down, not side to side. The carbon fiber chin will scrape every speed bump. And yes, it runs from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2.9 seconds. Tops out at 204 miles an hour, and turns so sharply it yanks the driver sideways with more force than gravity. But it's not a supercar. It's something better. This is a true driver's car. With the 600 LT, McLaren took their entry-level car, the 570S, and did what any gearhead would do to make their car drive better. They added new aerodynamic elements, like a fixed spoiler and longer rear diffuser that increased downforce at speed. They cut weight wherever and however they could. 211 pounds worth, which is almost 7% of the 570S's curb weight. And of course, they added power. The twin-turbo V8 has been cranked up to 592 horsepower, more than a Porsche 911 Turbo S. We spent a few days driving the 600 LT on the highways, byways, bridges, and back streets of New York City and the surrounding countryside to see how this track-tuned speed machine handles the real world and whether it's worth the money at anything less than felonious speeds.
Will, there are a lot of McLarens, but the one that you drove is the 2019 600 LT?
Yes.
Okay, the first question I'm going to ask for you is, where does that stand in the sort of the pantheon of McLarens?
So basically, McLaren has a couple different series. The Sport series is their entry-level car, entry-level. But this is the sort of the top tier one in the entry-level cars.
Yeah.
So it's like they take the basic 570S, which is sort of the base model of that, and they strip weight out of it, they throw more power in there, they just basically do all the things that you would do if you were tuning your own car to make it cooler.
So what's something equivalent for somebody who doesn't know all the different McLaren models?
They don't really have it, but like if Apple were to make like a MacBook Air Pro, something like that, where you take like the smallest, lightest chassis they have, and they just cram like the maximum amount of power you can fit into them.
So the other thing, one thing you also said is that it's not a supercar.
No, it's very much not a supercar. A supercar is very hard to define, right? There's a certain je ne sais quoi about it, but generally it's either the technology leader of a brand, or just the flagship halo car, the most expensive one, or just the wildest and craziest looking thing. It needs some combination of those.
Like a Veyron.
Exactly, or something like that, or even like an Aventador SVJ from Lamborghini, something along those lines. This doesn't quite reach any of those levels. It's not certainly the halo car, it's not sort of their technology leader, it's really just sort of a great driver's car. It just happens to be exotic.
So for someone who cares about Go, not necessarily show.
Exactly.
All right. So speaking of Go, what's in this thing?
So this thing has the 3.8 liter twin turbo V8, which is shared in various slightly different sizes across all the McLarens. Here it makes 592 horsepower and 467 pound-feet of torque.
In a car that's under 3,000 pounds.
Yes, it weighs just under 3,000 pounds with a full tank of gas and all the fluids on board.
So it definitely moves.
Oh, it moves real good. 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds or so. Top speed 204 miles an hour. 0 to 124, I believe, is like under 9 seconds, which is just a crazy stat in and of itself.
9 seconds.
Yeah. So like the amount of time that like your 10-year-old Honda Civic gets from 0 to 60, this thing's going more than 124.
Okay. Who are they going after with this car?
So this car is sort of like, it sort of fits in between, like if you think of Porsche with the 911s, between the GT3 and the GT2, but it's sort of a similar brief to those like GT RS models, where it's like, this is designed for people who want to drive more than just show off. This is for the guy who like, I buy a car and I have a lot of money, but I want to buy this because I want to drive it. I want to take it out on weekends. I want to play around with it. I love driving, and I want a car that's going to be as much fun as possible at whatever my price point happens to be, which for this starts at $240,000.
So $240,000, which puts it really in a place where like the hardest Corvette enthusiasts are going to be after this.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, all right, thanks, Will.
No worries.
This is my Rolex Submariner, and today we're going to talk about how to maintain a dive watch. Step 1 is screw down the crown. Most modern dive watches have a screw-down crown with threading on it. You have to make sure that's closed all the way so that water doesn't get inside the watch. There's a gasket in there, but even so, screwing down the crown will make sure that no water gets in and ruins your expensive dive watch. Step 2, know your resistance. It should be stated on the dial of your watch that it's water resistant to at least 100 meters. 100 meters is the base resistance for a quote-unquote dive watch according to ISO standards. So even though you might not be diving to below 100 meters, check that this is stated on the dial to make sure that it's really meant for diving. Step 3, deep is fine, heat and grease are not. Meaning, even though your watch is rated to go beneath the waves, you should not get grease such as suntan lotion or other types of grease onto the watch because it can ruin the gaskets, causing water to get inside. You also shouldn't take it inside a sauna or a steam room because the heat can cause the gaskets to expand or contract, again, getting water inside the watch and ruining it. Step 4, give your watch a freshwater bath. It's obviously fine to take the watch diving in salt water, but once you do, you should remove it from the water and actually rinse it off under the sink in fresh water. Doing this will free up any grease or debris or anything like that. Then you should turn the bezel in order to free up any debris from beneath it so that it won't freeze up. Once you're done with this, you can just dry the wash off with a soft cloth or towel, and that's it. Step 5, service and protect. Different watchmakers and different watch companies have different recommendations as to how often you should service a watch. A common number is somewhere between 3 and 5 years, but it depends on how often you use your watch and how you use it. So, if you're diving often with your watch, or especially if it's a vintage watch and you bought it secondhand, you should have it at least pressure tested. This is when a watchmaker puts the watch in a vacuum to test the integrity of the gaskets. Gaskets exist between the crown and also very often on the case back. If these gaskets are compromised, you can get water ingressing into the watch case and ruining the movement. So at the very least, have your watch pressure tested and have it serviced as needed. And those are the 5 steps to maintaining a dive watch.
Dollar Flight Club is free to join, and all members save an average of $500 on airfare. Right now, This Week in Gear viewers can use the code GEARPATROL to take 30% off a premium membership for even more flight deals, exclusive discounts, and much more.
3, 2, 1. Immediately sort of like frightened by a plastic packet full of what feels like Jell-O that's unsettled.
Ew. Mm-mm. Oh, I would say it tastes like candy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mostly what it tastes like is cereal that's been left in milk for too long.
Super, super sweet candy.
Yeah, I mean, the texture is gross. It tastes like a slug or something like that.
That texture is not poppin'.
It's actually pretty good. It tastes like lemon lime.
I want to try it again, but I'm kind of scared. Ew, it's clear too. That's sketch.
I'd have to do some research on what's in here.
Water, glucose, fructose, calcium carbonate.
I don't really know what most of those things do.
I mean, I'm no scientist, but I think for the most part it's healthy.
All jokes aside, what you just saw was the Maurten Gel 100, which is this guy. It is ideally used for endurance athletes who are running anywhere from like a half marathon to a full marathon, triathletes, ultra runners. And you need it because you already know that when you exercise for that long of a period of time, you're sweating a lot, so you have to refuel with water, but you also have to refuel with salt and carbohydrates, which is where the electrolytes come from. And it can be really hard to get all of the nutrients that you need and have it digest in your stomach without causing cramping, which is what a lot of athletes find when they use all sorts of gels. So what we've found through our testing is we really like the Gel 100 because it gives you the proper amount of fructose and glucose in this bundle, basically, that you can digest easily. And our athletes found it didn't really cause any cramping of any sort. And it helps you run for longer and basically gives you a boost of energy while you're working out. So we loved it so much that we gave it one of our coveted spots in the GP100 last year, and you can shop this now at your local run specialty store or at Maurten.com.
So I've been wearing Aether Apparel's first ever motorcycle boot. It doesn't come out till June, but we got it a couple weeks early to test out. I've been commuting in it, riding in it, just kind of breaking it in for the past couple weeks. It comes in at the $595 mark. It's a little bit more expensive than your Thursday boot or your Red Wing, but you have to remember that this is a legitimate motorcycle boot. So it has a reinforced toe cap, reinforced heel cap, and it has D3O padding on the ankles for extra on-road protection. So far, so good. I've been commuting in them, riding bikes on them, and they're breaking in nicely. First time out, I have to say, they knocked it out of the park. Been getting a lot of remarks, compliments on them. I think they did a pretty good job.
All right, what do we listen to?
So those are Master Dynamics MW65s. They're the company's first noise-canceling headphones.
So a lot of people in the office have Master Dynamic headphones. They're a bit polarizing because for some people like me, I love the audio, but I'm not a huge fan of the design.
Yeah, you have to be in love with kind of the look of the leather and gunmetal combo. Not for everyone, but definitely distinct.
With the MW60s and the NW65s, the NW60s being their non-noise canceling but wireless, I feel like the design has really sort of come together.
The design is very similar, and it's consistent across the board. The big difference here is that these are exponentially lighter. They're half a pound, or you can say 250 grams, whenever we're doing that.
What is that, like 8 ounces?
Yeah, okay. So they're actually a little slightly heavier than the Bose QC35-2s and slightly lighter than Sony's M3s. So like they're really, really light, and I think that's what most people want in like a travel-friendly noise-canceling headphone.
They're shockingly light, which I think is really cool. All aluminum frame. The one thing about these, how's the noise canceling?
The noise canceling doesn't quite live up to the same level as the M3s and the Bose QC35s, but the sound quality is good, the comfort is good. They're really light and they charge like very fast. You can get like a 12-hour charge in 15 minutes, so it's like on the go. It's
so
like
you got quick charge.
Yeah, it's a USB-C, and battery life in general is just very good. 24 hours total.
So okay, so 24 hours means just a little bit less than the Sony.
It's probably up there.
Got it.
And there's always variation whether noise canceling is turned on and turned off. But these have 3 different modes. You can have ANC on high, ANC on low, and then ANC off altogether.
So really quickly on the ANC. So ANC meaning active noise cancellation. So this offers 2 kinds, right? This has the internal noise canceling.
Yes.
Which is low, right? And then it's got the active noise canceling external mics.
Yeah, so if you're in like a windy environment or like you're outside and you're commuting, you probably want it low because you still want to hear some ambient noise. And if you want, if you're in a noisy office environment and you just kind of want to tune everyone out, you want it on high. The interesting thing about these headphones is a lot of like consistent, with the Sonys and whatnot, there's an app where you can adjust the EQ and do all these crazy things. There's none of that. These are very straightforward. It's like you have to like Master Dynamics sound signature and you just want something uncomplicated and you just can flip through. I mean, it's got really good like tactile buttons that you can just flip through.
Yeah, I love the buttons on there.
Yeah. It's really kind of more of an analog kind of noise canceling headphone.
The sound is one of the signatures of Master Dynamic.
Yeah.
I think they've got one of the best mid-ranges out there.
Yeah.
But the one thing is the noise canceling typically affects the way headphones sound.
Yeah.
On these, I heard that they've worked to eliminate a lot of that.
Yeah, they've tried to engineer it so that it doesn't affect sound signature, and I think most companies do that, and inevitably it kind of does. They just never sound as good if the noise cancelling's on as it is off, and the same is true with these guys. But yeah, the sound quality is great. It's rich, it's natural, it's not super bass heavy, and yeah.
Can I hear what you're saying to me right now?
You look so good right now.
I can't hear what you're saying.
You look so nice.
Pretty good. All right, thanks, sucker.